Psalm 133, Beauty of Unity Among Brethren, a song of degrees of David. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the bed, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Harmon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. I just wanted to start that off about the unity and how our unity was broken in 1960s, in the 1960s. And how was it broken? Integration was one point how the unity of Black people was broken. Integration. And they made it seem like it was a Black people's idea. Black people wasn't unified. The NAACP, which is the most militant group of Black people out there, because they went into action, protesting, while everybody else was just talking. And NAACP was a militant outfit. In the 1960s, they went to Mississippi to fight for the rights of Black people. Black women in Montgomery, Alabama, as a group, stayed on code and refused to ride the bus on a segregated basis. Black women walked to work, or they pooled their money and hired drivers to take them to work. And sometimes the people they worked for, people of whom they cleaned their houses, washed their clothes, cooked their meals, they came to pick up their workers. They spoke out for those workers because they needed that help. Those lazy white people needed the help. So there was unity. There was the deacons for defense in the South, where Black men were armed. This was before the Black Panther. In fact, Robin Williams had to flee the country from Monroe, Louisiana, because he fought back with guns. This was during the 1960s. And in the 1950s, even, leading up to the 1960s, a man by the name of Sweet Daddy Grace brought the most luxurious apartment building, the tallest apartment building in New York, near Central Park. I think now it probably costs um, $1 million to probably rent an apartment there, as far as I know. But he brought the most luxurious apartment building. I believe that is the same apartment building that John Lennon and Yoko Ono lived in. I believe so, or near there. This was in the 1960s, brought up the prestigious real estate. And he was supported by black women. Sweet Daddy Grace used to sell crumbs that fell from his table, sell a crumb for $5. But he brought up real estate and businesses. Father Divine, another one before the Nation of Islam, he brought up hotels and businesses. The only setback is that he said men and women, even if they were married, should not have sex. That's like connection to Planned Parenthood. That was a crazy idea that black men and women should not have sex. That was crazy. He married a white young woman. And in fact, I met her during the 1980s, 1980s or 1970s. I met her one time. I visited there in Pennsylvania, now Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So you had those people. And about 20 years earlier, or 30 years earlier, there was Marcus Garvey also buying up black businesses. And then, of course, the Nation of Islam during the 1960s had a bank, a publishing building where they publish and print their own newspaper. They had a bank, and of course, they had a white person to help in the establishment of that bank. They imported fish from Asia. In fact, whiting fish. And they had apartment buildings. And even Dr. York, the Nerubians in Brooklyn, brought up apartment buildings. And they even formed their own city in the South. I believe it was South Carolina or Georgia. I forget which state, but it was a southern state, their own city. So people were on the move. And then they had New Africa, Republic of New Africa, where they went into the South with the idea of setting up a nation. In fact, one of the leaders of the new Republic of New Africa became the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi. He was a lawyer before he died, and now his son is the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi. So there is movement, and there was a lot of movement. And during the 1960s, what did they do? Well, Moynihan wrote a book, a textbook of the weakness of the Black family and how to destroy it and what to attack. At that time, during the 1960s, 80% of births were with women who were married, a two-parent household, about 80%. And now, taking a cue from Moynihan, they turned that around, where 80% or so, between 70 and 80%, it is reported, women have children out of wedlock or one parent family, single mother. During the 60s, they flooded communities of Black people with drugs. They had people like Rick Ross, not him, but just like him. I think he came later on, who could not read or write, and make them, allow them to be a kingpin, flooding the community with crack. They made it hard for a Black male to get a job. Then they start incarcerating Black males like crazy, started in the 1960s. And then they made miscegenation legal. And a white woman was used to divide Black people. In the 1960s, less than 25,000 marriages of Black males to white women. It was 25,000 in 1960 or less. The same amount for the Black woman and white man. But after 1967, when they outlawed or made it legal for miscegenation to occur, it skyrocketed. Then they came up with feminism, Black feminism. They say that a woman, the single woman, could receive welfare as long as a man was not allowed. And now Black man is angry because the Black woman received welfare. Well, if the Black man stood up and provided for those women, they would not need welfare. What would they were supposed to do? Starve and let the children starve? Get out of here. Ain't nobody that's stupid. Black man did not build and provide for them, regardless of the circumstances. But the woman had no recourse other than to receive some type of help, or else die and starve. And what would the Black man do? Would go off to the white woman after the Black women starved themselves to death? No, he had to receive welfare. After Black family was broken up. Then, to make this, to round this out, have a lot to say, but I'm keeping it short. Then, during the 1960s, they opened up immigration for Black people from the islands and from Africa. It was not to help, it was to displace Black people on the few jobs that they were able to get. A lot of those who came from Africa was well educated and came from middle class families. At that time, it's different now. A lot of them coming over in boats and are very poor. And so all of these, that trickery was done. But now this is Judgment Day, and we are coming back together in unity. Every Black person, the original Black American or otherwise, we are all coming together in unity and power.